He said he was having connection issues, so it'll just be 5 of us. What's up, WT? How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Mm, doing very well.
Can you
Thank
hear
you,
me?
sir. Yeah, I can hear you. Was just taking a
Okay.
sip of water real quick. Sorry about that. It's
Welcome in WT. An
yeah,
honor to have you here, man. The host and of the weekly RavenQuest Ranting Raven.
that's right. I
Well, thank you very
listened
much. I
to
appreciate you guys having me.
one of those episodes. I heard you thought that I thought you were a homeless man. So, I
Yeah.
thought that was pretty
Nah,
funny.
this is just in jest. I know you didn't
No,
think
I
that,
know,
but it
I
was just
know.
kind of fun.
Yeah, it's good. It's
Not
good.
homeless anymore then.
Maybe
Yeah,
now
that's
that he has that extra
actually
1,000 silver,
right, right. I heard that you took
Um,
it a long way, WT. You got to
Yeah,
teach
I
us
got
the
a kick
ways,
out of
man.
turn it into a 1 million silver investment, casual.
it. Yeah, 1 million. That's not even enough, man.
Even that's yeah, even that's still you're still pretty broke at that point, huh?
Chump change.
Yeah.
That's enough for 20% of your daily crafting requirements.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's actually been pretty tough lately. The market seems to have slowed down, at least on the crafting side. I don't really know if it's like maybe just certain areas of the market have slowed down, or yeah, I'm not sure. I'd be interested actually to get your guys' thoughts and opinions around what's going on with the market. If you guys are also doing some active crafting, I believe Vitronics, you're doing some blacksmithing. But before we dive
yeah.
into this stuff, why don't I go ahead and just officially kick off the roundtable? We'll let people funnel in as they come, but for now, oh, you know what? We are still missing Shavir, so maybe we give him another minute. I don't know. What do you think, Foolish?
I just kick it off, and then if he comes, he comes. We're 5 minutes in, so.
Great, sounds good. Okay, so for those of you who are new, welcome to the Guilds Roundtable, hosted by myself, Jyrmz, and RavenQuest.tools, otherwise known as Foolish. We provide tools, most popularly known for our trade pack calculator, which I'm sure has helped most of you in the community who run trade packs. So thank you guys so much for being here. I just want to give a quick note that we are in no way officially affiliated with the RavenQuest team, so anything that we discuss here is purely, community and personal opinion based. It has, no weight on representation of their team and what the RavenQuest, founders are up to. So we do this purely to have some fun conversation about the state of the game, things we want to see occur in the future, updates that we want to have made, and talk about upcoming changes, recent changes, and just have some valuable discussion around the game. Hopefully, learn something from each other as prominent players in the game, and also teach some individuals who are listening in. We also would love to hear from you guys if you're listening in. Feel free to leave some comments on opinions you have about what we're talking about. I do create a forum post at the end of these roundtables. I'm sure you guys have all seen, and I will be breaking down all of the feedback that you guys provide and the speakers here in a forum post on the roundtable, which honestly may not even be necessary anymore because of something that Niter is now starting, which may solve kind of this. I wouldn't call it a problem, but may make that forum post not necessary anymore, right? Because Niter will be collecting feedback directly from the community in his, what did he call them? The Niter's Forge, which is such a cool name. Perfect for Niter himself. So I'm very excited for those actually. And before we dive into any of those juicy topics, I just want to give a quick welcome to all of our speakers here. We have Sin and Punishment from the Fam Guild, who is the vice leader of the Fam Guild in-game, I believe. We've got WT, who is the commander of GXE. An incredible role indeed. And Vitronics, who is a vice leader of GG, one of the most powerful
Not a
guilds in the
vice.
game.
Sorry, bro.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah,
oh, my
I'm
mistake.
just.
I thought.
Yeah,
Okay,
no, that's
sorry
yeah.
about that.
I thought I'd clear up before they come and.
They'll
That's
take you
okay.
down.
That's okay.
What are you doing? You're claiming
Yeah.
this role. Okay, so just an absolute legend. I think that was my mistake. I think you did tell me this,
No, that's
so
fine.
I apologize.
That's all good. No, that's all
Content
good.
creator and prominent figure.
Yes, a legendary creator in the space. And what's your blacksmithing level now, Vitronics? What are you at? What are you pushing?
Only 77.
Oh, okay. So you maybe you
Just
slowed
just
down
a
just a
baby.
tad. Yeah, that's all right. It's
Yeah,
been tough, man. Like I said earlier, the market's been slowing down a little bit. So maybe you did
it
yourself a
is.
service, right? And we also got Shocky, who is a vice leader in TG Tempest Genesis. So
That's right.
welcome in, guys. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you to everyone who is tuning in. Let's have some fun, and let's go ahead and dive in first. As always, with the Guild Wars, we can quickly touch base. How did the Guild Wars go for you guys? Did you have any major issues? Is it starting to feel more fair now? Shocky, how did things go over on your end at TG?
I would say in our warband we had some struggles. We did win at the end, but we have noticed a big shift into tankiness. The opponents, they were full tanky, even archers, everybody. Everybody was tanky.
Wow.
Archers, mages, everybody. Tanky and two healers, we couldn't do much, but at the end we pulled through. The other warbands we didn't have too much luck with. Some of them had to postpone this guild war, but overall we did have one victory at least, the one that I was part of.
Hey, that's what it's all
So
about, man. It's all about having fun,
exactly,
you know.
exactly,
So
exactly.
that's
But yeah, it
crazy
was
though. What
it was a
guild?
lot of fun.
What guild was running the full tanks? Even the
Uh,
archers being
S-
tanks is kind of interesting.
SMK, like
Ah,
they
okay.
were doing really good. Like strategy-wise, all
Mm.
tanky and just running around, distracting us, and taking objectives. Like they did really good. They didn't do that good in PvP, but they utilized everything else. So that's what Guild Wars is about, like utilizing where your strengths are, which I
Yeah,
really like. Like it is going to be more and more visible the more weeks pass.
one of my favorite fights was against TN. We lost to them 1 week. I think this was before the MMR system was implemented, and then I think the next week or the week after, we were able to fight them again, and they still managed to get more flags than us, but we adjusted our strategy to kind of get inside of the base that they were trying to deliver the flag to, and it was like a Game of Thrones hold the door moment, and we knew that it was only a matter of time before they would break through and take over the base, but in the meantime, while they were trying to break into that base and deliver the flag, we would be capturing all the other points, you know, and somehow we pulled off a win with like just 25 points ahead, even though we were losing all of our major battles. It still worked out, it's really cool to see, even when you look at the what is it called, the player drama, and you see all the screenshots, and sometimes there's a guild with only 9 people that beats a guild with 10 people, or a guild that's under leveled beating a guild that's higher level. It's always cool to see that. Vitronics, how did things go over on your end in GG? Did you guys still bring 6 warbands into the fray?
We did, and thing is, I think there's less people playing right now. I don't know what is that. Obviously we all have our ideas what it could be happening, but
Sure.
yeah, it was really tough. It was really tough. It was really tough. And what you're saying about like holding the holding the tower, that was actually my plan for a little bit, but there was only 8 of us because I'm sort of in casual roster. I ran it as well, and yeah, we had some, less people. And the way it works as well is like, I had some good people 2 weeks ago, but they have been pulled to the higher teams, to the the first,
I
second,
see. Yeah.
etc. Yeah, so that is a little bit of you know, shot in the knee for us, and yeah, we cannot really. Yeah, but the tankiness is actually very interesting because I saw that last week, but this week it was just crazy. Like literally, the guy that was running the flag had a whole protection tree, including both Unchained and Unbreakable, and he was the only level 75 on the warband,
Oh
which
my
means
god.
he could, yeah, but he could drink the iced fruit milk. I think that's how it's called. So if you
Also, he
guys are
was
aware
running
what it does,
extra fast, basically.
yeah,
Right.
10% speed on foot. Yeah, I think that makes a difference, and I'm pretty sure that is what he was on because he was quite fast, even with the flag, and it was just full tank, crazy. But yeah, it's
Wow.
interesting, and I don't really want this to become a new meta. I wanna fight with people. I don't want to be, you know, trying to break the defenses all the time and just you know. But yeah, Game of Thrones kind of thing. That is a very cool approach. That's what I was thinking today as well. But yeah, unfortunately we lost. Next week I want to make sure I have 10 people ready to play. But yeah, that's our one. And I think that if I can say one more thing, um, I think there's quite a lot of our teams lost as well this week. I think it was at least 4, maybe even 7, probably just one warband won, which is very interesting. And I think it's due because people are being like very tanky. Like just there is a shift in sort of GVG meta.
Yeah, it's an interesting point that you bring up, and don't mind me. I'm just gonna share some casual gameplay in the background. I'll be doing some ranger tasks as we talk. If anybody wants to come by, I'm in Gilead doing high-level Caymans. Should be only a few of you who can probably join me here, but yeah, it's interesting what you bring up about the tankiness, right? I think that um, you know, it's my personal opinion that actually when tankiness and you know CC becomes too much of an issue, um, the game starts to become less fun. But it's just my opinion. Like, I think Overwatch went through this cycle where they added a lot of crowd control and tanky builds, and the tanks kind of became overpowered. And then same thing kind of happened when I was playing Apex Legends. They started introducing these characters that had more defensive abilities, and you could like build a wall and shoot through it, but your opponents couldn't shoot through the wall. And I was like, you know what? It's not fun anymore, you know? It's like, okay, I want to go kill this guy. He just puts a thing up, and then you know, it's like this weird game of, like you said, you're just fighting against these massive tanks, and you're not really fighting anything, you know? You're just trying to pump through a shield, basically. But I wonder how, you know, how we could deal with that. Just maybe put a slight nerf to, you know, HP, like a HP soft cap, or you know, a slight nerf to the protection tree, even more than it already is, because it's still being used so much.
I think it should be nerfed even more. I mean, that was the point from some of the like OG players. The protection should be nerfed to even to a degree, but then you know, it was more of a protection not being able only to protect but also deal damage. That was the main issue.
Right.
But now with the protection the way it is, I think the tankiness and all that is just the meta for the GVG. You know, it's not necessarily
Yeah.
meta for anything else, which will be hard to balance, unless it will be just the balance, you know, stricter for GVG.
Yeah. You know
Yeah,
what? You know what? Yeah, go ahead.
if I add to that, I agree with the protection tree. That's why the Dark Knight and Hexor are not that strong.
Because they can
The
attack and defend in the same time, and that is
exactly,
that is the
exactly,
issue. That is the issue.
exactly.
It's not a...
So I think the Unchained and Unbreakable, even if you run them together or separately, like both of them are a bit too strong, I would say. Like they last a bit too long, in my opinion.
Yeah, Unchained, honestly, is an ability that I think needs an adjustment. When I see people use that, I completely agree. It's a little bit too long. I wonder if it has anything to do with the way that the flag is being carried as well. Like, I don't know because I've never really carried the flag personally or really been near the flag. I'm always ninja capping. But when you're carrying the flag, do you guys know if you like what are the conditions that make you drop the flag? Is it just when you use a skill that blinks you into a new spot? Like you're able to attack, you're able to use all of your skills except for something that enhances your movement, right? That's the only thing that would cause you to drop the flag.
Actually, not sure.
I believe so. I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, because if that's, I
No.
wonder if there's an adjustment there, right? Like, if they adjust it where they like add a new range of skills that will cause you to drop the flag. Like maybe they do it, like flag carrying as more of a traditional experience in the games that I've played at least. What I mean is like, typically when you play a capture the flag game, you're able to engage in most of your activities. Like your movement speed isn't diminished or anything. You kind of just get marked on the map and you can still play as normal, right? So maybe if they do something like this where you're not this like slow walking, I don't know. I feel like if they make some adjustments to like the conditions of being the flag carrier, it might disincentivize people to go like full tank, as they're trying to carry the flag. If you can still run around and fight as normal, maybe you die, you drop the flag, your DPS teammate picks up the flag, and he can still be the same DPS player he was a moment ago. You get what I'm saying, maybe? Like, where you don't have to nerf the tree necessarily just for Guild Wars. I mean, I still think protection needs to be nerfed regardless, but,
What if? Can
yeah.
I suggest something?
Yeah, of course. Go hop
What
in,
if-
man.
What if they, just for Guild Wars only, in the protection tree, whatever skills are causing problems, they nerf it. Let's just call it 15%. They nerf it 15%,
Mm-hmm.
but the cost is that they gain like a reflect of, let's say, 20% damage of whatever they're taking back to the people, something like that, but only for Guild Wars.
I think that would be too much work to do. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think when you start getting into Guild Wars specific nerfs and buffs, maybe it gets a little bit complicated and it also kind of becomes hard as a player to anticipate like how the interactions will go down. Like currently you can test your build in the overworld, right? Or in the open world, and then you go to Guild Wars, you kind of know how your build is going to function. It is an interesting concept though, right? Like adding some additional requirements or additional changes, how builds work and interact in Guild Wars. I just think, at the end of the day, probably what they need to do is just make a slight adjustment to this, this tank meta, steer the game away from, I think what is a common failure in other games, which is, making it too much about crowd control and tankiness and being unkillable, basically. But yeah, it's some good insight. Sin and Punishment, are you around, brother?
You better believe it, bro. How you doing, bro?
Hey, good to hear you, man.
How you doing? How you doing?
I heard you were full of energy, and I hear you coming in here with lots of energy. I absolutely love it, man. I'm doing great. Thank you so much.
That,
yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
How did you guys
I appreciate those kind words too.
Yeah, of course, man. Of course. I love it. I love it. Positivity is always good, especially in the gaming space where so many of us can get a little bit toxic around these parts of town. But how did it go over on the fam side of things? Did you guys participate in the Guild Wars? Were you involved? Did you fight yourself?
Yes. So we participated. I was involved. I'm hearing some of the things that the other people were talking about. Personally, I don't think we experienced that. I haven't heard one word of someone complaining about too much tankiness. Of course, each war is different from another, right? So I'm not like discrediting that at all. But our war game or our guild war wasn't that. We lost. The first thing I do when we lose is determine if it was winnable or not. And I certainly deemed it winnable. So it came down to, we just got to go back to the drawing board. I thought it was a fair fight. I think if we played properly, we take that win. So that's what we're here for. We're here for good games, good back and forths. And if we lose, we take it, we talk about it, and we come back. And that's what this Guild Wars was. Nothing that Fam Guild can't overcome. So I was very pleased with it. And honestly, I'm super excited for the next one. And now I start to feel I'm starting to get this feel like, damn, I wish there was more than once a week, Guild Wars. I'm not sure if you guys have it in the plans to maybe have more than one going on Saturday, or maybe a Saturday and another day. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
But it gets to a point where, it is competitive, man. It is competitive. It is healthy. And it's so healthy to a point where a week, taking a loss and having to wait a week is a bit much, it's a bit much, but it's early days. It's early days. I know, we're just getting into the Guild Wars and we figure out where everything fits and how everything works. But long story short, bro, it was awesome. Everyone had fun. Big shout out to the guild that we did play against. They played well. We recognize that, and we're ready for the next one, bro. So yeah.
Love it, man. Love it. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Over on our side, we had the same thing kind of go on after the Guild War. I had a team meeting with myself and our comms leader, and we talked it out. How can we improve? Even though we won, we still have these conversations, and I think that's honestly one of my favorite parts is having those strategy meetings at the end, just like you said, determine if things were more winnable, or just kind of doing that debrief at the end is always a good time.
Absolutely.
I two things really quickly. One, I just want to clarify that myself and RavenQuest.tools, we're not affiliated with the team. So when you say you guys, I just want to let you know that we don't have any power
Gotcha.
over the decisions of the team. So we can't, as much as we want to, schedule more Guild Wars. But this was actually something that Lou from the 90 Guild, who's the leader of the 90 Guild, brought up last week. He was saying he would love to have more matches, and this was when Niter was in the call with us. So I think Niter is aware that people are itching for more team combat and Guild Wars specifically, and I think Niter is considering adding in 2v3 or best 2 out of 3 or something like this, the ability to have more fights each week rather than just the one battle.
Right.
And speaking yeah.
Go ahead.
No, please, you're good.
Yeah. So I did hear that, and it's a great, I'm right there. I'm on board with that. We definitely, at least more than one, for sure. Even if it's not 2 separate days and it's just one day, for sure, I agree. I don't think a best 2 out of 3, because what happens if you run into a team that spanks you? Now that second game is going to be miserable for that losing team that's just going to get spanked again. But maybe like 2, but with a different team, I think is healthy, man. I really do think so. Everyone's showing a lot of interest in Guild Wars, a lot of competition. People are loving this, man. Everyone should be pumped about that. But I think from my experience, for example, last week we got spanked. We got spanked hard. But that was a different story from this week. This week we lost, and I could say strategy played a part. Last week, I think we played a fine strategy, but we were just well overpowered, right? Different losses are for different reasons. So if we had the best 2 out of 3 system in place, I would be like, guys, get me out of this second game, right? It's it's pointless with that kind of how separated that competition was. So I'd say 2 sure, but with a different team. That's what I would like to throw in.
Absolutely. Speaking of feedback, I think let's talk a little bit about this Niter's Forge that he's starting. I think this is going to be a great place where you could actually go in and share these specific thoughts. And, everyone has their own opinion on, if it should be best 2 out of 3 or, this amount of battles, or it should go down like this. And I was surprised and taken aback, actually. I didn't anticipate that Niter would ever drop an announcement like that. I don't know did you guys all read that announcement about the Niter's Forge that's incoming? Is everyone aware of what's going on? It's going to be a spot where, here, let me actually pull up the announcement and I can quote it. It's in minor announcements on RavenQuest. He said, Niter's Forge starting next week. Starting next week, I'm launching something new to work more directly with the community. Each week, I will be selecting 1 to 3 time-dependent of the top upvoted forum topics from the community, making an unscripted video going through each idea and upload to the Discord. I want to get more involved in sharing my thoughts on your ideas directly, telling you what I love, explaining what might not work and why, and giving you all a peek behind the curtain of our development. I'm not going to read the rest of it, but it does sound really promising. I really like this initiative. I think it's very rare that you see like a CEO, developer, founder of a game go ahead and take a deeper dive, personally, to look at the feedback that the community is providing and provide insight as to whether or not that idea can work, if it can't work, why it can't work, why it will work, and I don't know. I really love this. It's not something I've ever really seen a CEO or developer take on from a project or a game that I'm involved in playing and being a part of. So I think it's a really great step in the right direction. But I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts. If you think it's going to be something that's maybe a little bit insignificant or helpful. Vitronics, how do you feel about this initiative that Niter's taking with the Forge? Is it something that matters to you? What was your initial reaction to seeing that minor
I
announcement?
mean, I haven't seen the announcement, so thanks for reading that. So
Yeah.
I think they have so much on their plate that we just need more content. We should be fine. Like, I don't, with you're always gonna get me honest here, bro. But yeah, I think it's just not necessary. I understand that for everyone it is like, yeah, nice. It's something extra, something that you haven't had in the other games. But I think they just should focus on getting content delivered as soon as they can, because we need that. We want that. We want that soon, and we desperate for it right at this stage. And yeah, it is cool idea, but on the other hand, I think they should really invest all their time into bringing everything that is on the roadmap and delivering it as fast as they can to keep it all going nice and smoothly.
Right. Yeah, I totally understand. It's kind of, if I understand what you're saying, it's like, who cares? It's about like Niter, kind of giving his thoughts on what people are suggesting. It's more important to focus your energy on just actually developing the content that we want to see being played. At the same time, though, I think there is a balance, right? If you just go completely dark and you don't fill your community in and like have a voice with them, then people feel like you're not doing anything, right? It's kind of like how we or I won't say we, but how the team jumped from announcing something every week to, kind of radio silence for like the past maybe month, right? I felt it, at least, on an individual level. I felt like, what's going on? We used to get a Niter post every 3 days, and now, there hasn't been many announcements in the past few weeks. It can be a little bit, I think, deteriorating on the
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
right.
but that I think. Sorry. I
Oh, no,
think that
please,
came
feel free,
from after our round table. I believe it was 6 or 7. I don't know if you remember, but
8.
was
That
it
Niter
8?
was on.
Yeah. No, that was before
No,
Nighty was on. It was
yeah, it
Oh, that
was
was
a
yeah, it
one
was,
while back with me and Vitronics and
Yeah.
some other
yeah.
individuals.
We were. I was complaining about, like, no, because one thing is like keeping us in the loop of what's going on, and the other thing is taking more data. I think there's quite a lot of data already there. We just need to process it. But yeah, sorry. Over to you. Sorry.
Hey, no worries. WT, I'm curious to get your thoughts on this Niter's Forge. If you have any interesting opinion on, what do you think it'll do for the morale of the community? Are you a fan of the initiative that Niter's taking here? Yeah, what do you think as a commander to commander perspective?
First of all, I want to say thanks for having me on today. I really appreciate it. I'm so jacked right now, and my energy is on a level of rawness that I can't even begin to explain. I haven't even had a Celsius yet, so you guys have definitely
Oh boy.
got my energy flowing, and I freaking love it. Thanks for having me here. You guys are awesome. I love listening to you guys whenever I can, whether it's live, whether it's on the recap. And real quick, GXC, we went 0-2 today, Team 1 and Team 2, but we've seen significant progress, and we're getting there. We're getting there. Team 1 fought TGG, and Team 2 fought LS. We were just a little bit outgunned, but strategies have come along, and we need to get some full squads. But let's get to what you were talking about here with Niter and the Forge. I think the intent is amazing, and it's completely different in the space. And for the longest time, the space has had projects launch, and then we got to wait 6 months to 3 years to get anything. And then we get these beauties coming along, and they just like unload on us week after week after week, and we're like, holy smokes! Like I can't even keep up. Then we get a little radio silence, and we're like, oh, what happened? What happened? We're kind of all over the map. So I would implore the team to be a little bit more balanced and consistent, like you were talking about. But at the same time, I mean, that AMA, or not, it wasn't an AMA, but it kind of was, the roundtable last week. Holy smokes. Like, I had to listen to it 3 times with a notepad because of just what was flowing out of that man's mouth. Like, so
Yeah.
I think he is already kind of communicating with the community on a level like we're not used to. So, like, I got to agree with the last speaker. Like, we got enough stuff to fix and enough stuff to get out there. The house is great. We got an amazing, amazing house. We just got a couple cracked windows here and there that let in some rainwater now and then. We got the foundation. We got the beautiful house. Let's just fix the little stuff that we need to fix and then get the roadmap going. I like his thoughts of like keep the energy focused on what needs to be done.
Love it, WT. Very well said, man. I love that analogy about the house. That's perfect. I still think it's a yeah. Did somebody want to jump in?
Shouldn't we then analyze why the windows are leaking, so to speak?
Welcome in,
Because
Shavir.
I think we are.
Hi.
Hi,
Sorry.
thank you. By the way. Sorry,
I didn't
was,
see you
late.
hop in.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, I was
Yeah,
late.
sure. What do you
But yeah,
mind
shouldn't
providing
we
some
then
more clarity
analyze
in your
it?
thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah. Shouldn't we then analyze why the
Well,
windows
I
are
mean,
leaking, so to
there's
speak?
a lot of little
But
things, a lot of big things. I think one of the biggest things that makes this game golden is your ability to get together with your friends and play and have a good time together. They've taken one of those away with the C, which I think was unnecessary, and I think it might have been a slight overreaction. And I know they're working on it, but like every time I've played this game and had the most fun, it's been with my friends and guildies together, doing stuff, having weird organic stuff come up, whether it's a loss, whether it's a win. And I think that's what they should stick to is what do we do to keep people playing together and having fun? Is there going to be some extractors here and there? Yeah, that's just the Web3 issue. And until that gets solved, you're just going to have to accept it because I'd rather go out in the sea and hunt down grimy extractors than have nobody to hunt. And that's just one. Then you've got a little bit of the quality of life stuff of like, why do I have to fight bounty boards to share something with my buddies so that I can go quest them because they're not level? Oh, well, we got to respec ourselves just so we can get bounty boards together so that we can go play together. Little stuff like that, big stuff like the sea, and there's other stuff which would take too much time to talk about. But that's what I'm talking about. We got the package here. We just need to fine tune some things and maybe, like Kaiser says, when you get something out, let it sit and breathe for a little bit instead of like, oh, no, the inflation's going to get out of control. Like, I think we had it. I just think there was a slight overreaction, and it's just my opinion. And I just want to play with my homies, man. I just want to play with my homies, and if I make a few quests along the way, awesome.
yeah.
I gotta.
It's fine focusing on the positives.
Yeah, go ahead, Shavir. Go ahead.
It's fine focusing on the positives, etc. I think the game is awesome, but I don't know if there's been a consensus that there's like people are negative about the patch. It's not something that I know of, but it sounds like it a bit. But I think it's pretty important to sort of address why the game is, leaking players a little bit, and what the reason people think is that they're not having as much fun as they could, or why they are, less inclined to log on or things like that, because there's been a decline in the player base.
Yep.
And I think that needs to be addressed a little bit, why that is, and check in on that. Like, what are those people feeling that is kind of stopping playing the game? Because
Are you saying that
those
from their like?
feelings are not
Sorry.
invalid. And, no,
Are you saying that
Agree.
the team should be diving deeper into these like the psychology behind the current state of the player base
Yes.
and addressing those issues?
Yeah,
Do you
I
feel like
think
that's not something that
so.
they're already actively doing in the background?
Well, I mean, maybe they are.
Uh-huh.
For sure, they could be, and I hope that they are. For example, the crafting. It's really fun, the crafting, but it's very unsatisfactory when
Mhm.
your craft shit, and at best you can like not go minus on it a lot of the time. You can find like trends and stuff that you can benefit from, but since the combat level go up with your crafting so much, a lot of people are using it basically to buy XP in a way. Uh, so I just bought large houses, so I'll definitely take a negative from a change that would affect that, but for the game as a whole, it would likely be a better choice to reduce that like XP from that you get from crafting in combat. I don't know what you guys think of that
You're
idea.
saying you bought
Because
a large estate on the marketplace in order
two actually.
to actually subsidize the XP that you would normally get crafting and playing the game because it's been difficult to get XP through crafting.
No, I mean those are unrelated. It was just a
Oh,
good
okay.
price on them. And
Okay,
fun
yeah.
opportunity.
Oh, it's a great buy.
But
I love
yeah,
the buy. It's
it
good
was a
decision.
great buy.
Yeah.
Like the prices skyrocketed after the Niter episode last time,
Nice.
and yeah, so I made a pretty good buy there. But
Yeah,
you
I
can
mean,
gain a lot of XP from crafting, and that means that a lot of people will use it to in that way. And maybe that has something to do with that they're not much of a profit margin on like anything. And crafting becomes very unsatisfactory if you can't sell things at least a bit of a profit. And I don't know what that solution would be for this, but
well, I
I'd
think Shavir
love to
that
hear you
Niter
guys'
brought
opinions
up
on
a
it.
a great idea, which is actually the repair of items that you already have. I think that it's not maybe the entire solution to what you're bringing up, and it's funny because this is something that I really wanted to talk about today. Is the fact that the market has slowed down a little bit. I mean, as a craftsman, I'm personally feeling a little bit of that burn, right? Like I'm feeling that description of what you said, which is I'm crafting and hoping that I at least break even, right? Just so I can continue crafting the
Yeah.
next day because it's it's kind of like I craft 100 armors and then the next day I do the same thing and most of it is just trash, right? But
If I can add to this solution, it's a simple one. You just minimize the amount you can craft in a day. We were talking with the guild a little bit. Like just not minimize, but just reduce the amount you can craft. Right now, one person can craft for the whole server. That does
yeah.
not make sense. For
You
example,
know
I
what
do
I
cooking.
think the problem with that is though that I immediately
Not
think
bad.
of is that you as a game developer you lose a very big silver sink, right? Because people are spending tons and tons of silver to craft in taxes and then they push their oversupplies to stay at the top of the leaderboard and they're spending even more in taxes.
Right.
So that I wonder how you subsidize that as a developer, right? Even though I do like the idea in theory, it's just something that my brain immediately goes to is why why that might be an issue.
Yeah, but
I think
There
it's
need to be silver sinks, yes. But
if more players craft, then more players are gonna sink that silver. It's not going to be just the top players that are going to be sinking the silver.
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah. Because if you have a limit to
The-
crafting, then you have more more incentive for other crafters to enter the scene. That's a good point.
I think the issue here is that some people are too far ahead. All you're gonna do is just gonna ruin it for people that are lower levels with crafting, and the people at the top not gonna really care because they are at the top already. So I think you're just gonna make it harder for others later on
Good
down the
point.
line rather than fix the issue itself. But yeah, 100% get your point on it.
That's what I was thinking. Like, keep the XP but reduce the amount of crafts you can do. Like, maybe just increase the XP, but like keep the XP you gain equal to what it is now, but just reduce the amount of crafts needed.
Vitronics, you're
were you guys-
saying that an issue with that would be the people at the top wouldn't care. Is it with his solution that he recommended? Do you mind clarifying?
Yeah,
Maybe I didn't fully
because
understand.
at the end of the day, you're trying to get to a certain stage, like you're trying to make T7s, and like we, or maybe me, I'm quite far away from T7s right now,
Sure.
but I know that probably in about 20 days we're gonna see T7s on the market, at least weapons. And yeah, it doesn't matter what's gonna happen now. The people that are gonna make money on it, they're gonna make money on it regardless. But reducing amount of things that we can craft, I mean, it's a good idea, but that would have to be with us from the very beginning, because quite a lot of these changes that you mentioned, it is something that would have to be from the very beginning of when the game was launched.
Why is that?
At least in my opinion. Because you're gonna reduce the EXP gained from crafting, is that correct?
Oh, I think he's saying you would maintain the same amount of XP you get from crafting, but you reduce the amount that you can craft per day. So maybe you're just maybe you're doubling the amount of materials required per craft. You're reducing the amount of literal pieces of armor that you can craft per day, but you double the amount of materials required, and you double the amount of XP you gain per craft. Something like this. So you
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And
You're
in
how
just- you're
much-
just- which I
what is
agree.
the-
Like yeah.
Yeah, no, I get you. But what is your craft cost of like a light blade right now? To be happy that this will be doubled.
It's pretty hefty, yeah.
Yeah. So and then even if you roll a good one, it's really hard to find someone who's gonna actually pay the money for it as well.
It's
Yeah.
true, but it is still. I mean, the thing is though, like you bring up a cool point, which is, there's too many people ahead, right? Like even myself, I'm crafting tier 6s, which is requiring legacy level 70. I'm like, how many people are even legacy level 70 in the game? Like I can't even. I'm too far ahead on my crafting. Yeah, it's an interesting issue in the game as a crafter, but I think
Maybe 1/4.
Can I ask something off of this?
yeah, jump in, man.
I don't think he's said it unless I missed it, but with the suggestions you guys are making about reducing or limiting how much you can craft per day, I like the idea. Can you offset the needs for XP for crafting, and also incorporate the professions getting rewarded with some silver, and or requiring materials to fix durability issues? And what I mean is, like, if you have to repair armor, you have to find a blacksmith that can repair your armor. He's going to get a little bit of silver from it. It's going to cost a little bit of materials. Is that a way to offset some of these issues also?
I really
That-
think so. I mean, I think I'm hoping. I'm smoking some copium
Make it matter.
hard right now that like the repair mechanic of needing to repair your ship, your wagon, your armor, your weapons, it should hopefully bring a constant supply of job. Like that's a
I
horrible.
think that's amazing. Yeah, as long as they're gonna get it right and it's gonna be all good, then I think that is something. Because you need to remember this system. What you see, I've been in Raven Dawn. Sorry, I'm referring to Raven Dawn
Hey,
again.
go ahead.
But
Yeah.
essentially, Raven Dawn was the big ass beta of the RavenQuest, and yeah, that was the issue a lot of crafters had. Like at one stage, you're gonna have so much equipment that you're either gonna eat as a EXP to infuse your gear, which is one way of doing it, or you're gonna try and keep it till T7s with limited space you have. But yeah, it's just we were even thinking back then, like I'm talking, over less than a year ago, that it would be cool even if we'll have the option to break your unwanted craft for half of the materials. You'll just get half of the materials back. Like if you get a bad roll, like really bad roll, you can just go
Oh.
and get a half
Just
of the
trash it.
materials back.
Yeah.
Dismantling, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because before you had another option. I don't know if you know, but you were able to basically convert your items into the Dawn Essence. But because the Dawn Essence plays such a significant role here, that you have packs, but it does and it doesn't. But you can get the packs, but they are not ascendable anymore. So I think the idea of removing the NPC that was giving you down essence for scrapping items was that all the packs going to be ascendable, and they sort of kept it removed, but the packs aren't ascendable, so cannot get much from it.
Feed the monk.
Feed
Yeah,
the
it is.
monk.
It changed. Yeah, it
Feed
changed
it.
to fit the monk. Yeah, yeah. But that's why the NPC was removed, because yeah, I think the fit the monk is more sort of like community thing as well, rather than just individual coming to an NPC with sort of all of us working towards one objective, which is as well cool. But yeah, just breakups just to get some materials back. Something that will be more relevant for us, rather than down essence or whatever else. But literally just get some money back, get a cash back, and carry on crafting, because we all just want to carry on crafting by the looks of things.
Yeah, yeah.
I think a great silver sink would be like community-wide projects. Imagine if there are like in Harbor Island, there's a light pier that can be built, and it will be kind of built in stages. Like the more people
Say that again.
put
Sorry.
into it,
What would you be building?
yeah, imagine if there's like a lighthouse
Uh-huh.
that can be built by the community, and like feed the monk, and you feed it materials, and then you get rewards based on like the progress of it or something along those lines, and that gives like a buff to that region. Maybe the safe zone extend, or I don't know, maybe some NPC ships come to aid whoever gets attacked or something in a certain area, or something along those lines.
That's a really cool
Maybe
idea.
it can,
Yeah,
That's awesome.
cool, very
maybe it
cool.
can help. Yeah, maybe it can help during if they add some more weather effect. Like, imagine if your boat kind of like start veering like left and right, and you lose control over it, or if navigation becomes harder.
Was
Like,
it that
imagine
mentioned?
imagine if you cannot access your minimap or your map while you're out at sea.
Oh, that
for
would
example.
like a heavy
And the
thunderstorm.
lighthouse will light the way for you, or like stuff like that, right? And
Oh, very cool.
Nice,
whatever
cool
guild has
stuff.
communicated the most gets like some sort of inscription on it, or I don't know, some shit, some glory stuff, right? It could be cool stuff like that. Those would be awesome silver sinks, I think.
Yeah, that's
Personally.
actually
No,
a
that's
really
amazing.
incredible
Mm.
idea. And I think going back to the Niter's Forge, I mean, I don't think anybody shared an idea like that. We do have a forum about the sea that's open, where I was sharing some ideas personally, and some other people chimed in and were sharing their ideas about how to enhance the sea. Weather is an incredible idea. I mean, I think it would be really cool if well, at the end of this, I will be making this all into a forum, and hopefully Niter will take a look and address it in one of his forges and talk about, if this could be done or not. And I don't know. I think it's a great
Something to
idea.
note too. We had somebody in the comments here for the roundtable. Number 0 said that they should let's see, they should consider for like Guild Wars, kind of like what you guys are talking about, where there's some new features, but making it so that somebody who's like carrying the flag has like a minimum number of things that they can do or actions. But there's like little things that they could be doing to change the extent of the game and how it interacts, like the world, and especially in Guild Wars too. I think there's a lot more that could be done or explored, which I think the community can be a big proponent of pushing some of those things.
Yeah. I mean, I think going back to what Vitronic said, I know you guys expressed a lot of opinions about Raven Dawn and like improvements that could be made there, and I think that there's an incentive that the team failed to like meet those demands and requests from the community. I think there's it's a real thing that occurred, and let's not like hide and pretend like that didn't happen. But I think Niter did address that, and I want to bring that up. Like in one of the early AMAs that I attended from Niter, I remember he was talking about how Raven Dawn was a little bit of a failure of success, and that they weren't intending to have such a massive player base as they did. And I think that their team was unprepared to handle the challenges that came with the massive player base that flooded them, where like, if I remember correctly, he was saying there was only supposed to be 5 or 10,000 players playing the game, and their studio would have considered that a success, and instead they got like 200,000 players at one point, and they were overwhelmed, and the world of the game wasn't even prepared to tackle these things. So I do have hope, and I do think that they're doing a much better job at trying to receive the feedback and make these changes. And going back even further to what I think Shavir was saying, or maybe it was WT, you were saying the reaction about the fishing was maybe too heavy, like there was a too harsh of a nerf, that the fear of the inflation and extraction. I am personally happy about the adjustments that were made to fishing, but anyways,
That wasn't me, but yeah.
Yeah.
Just, it is
I
a
think it was WT, right?
conundrum.
Talking about the ocean. But anyways,
that's
guys,
me.
it's been a lot of incredible ideas, and yeah, I think hopefully we'll see some of these things get changed. And speaking of changes,
NPC merchant
we do have 1.0.9.5 coming next week. We'll have effective level cap increased from 75 to 80. We have the boss bounty system, which Niter talked about in the previous roundtable. Raven shouts as well. And I think that's pretty much it. But yeah, we do have the effective level cap increasing and the boss bounties coming in. How are you guys feeling about these two updates coming into the game?
Are the new archetypes coming out too? No?
Not yet. That is going to be with 1.1.0, which I think in one of Niter's previous announcements and also lightly confirmed in the last roundtable is at least less than 3 months away. Like he said, it'll be no more than 3 months from last week's roundtable that 1.1.0 will be released. It is obviously a massive expansion. For those of you that didn't listen, we have like new cosmetic for the health bars incoming. There's new cosmetic blueprints incoming. There's going to be the expeditions, which are unfortunately just solo content for now as they balance it and test it. But expeditions will be incoming, which is like randomly generated experience in the dungeons, and so much more. We've got the repair system, which we were talking about, will be coming with 1.1.0, where your gear will have durability, your wagons will have durability, your ship will have durability. We will get the 2 new archetypes, which you just brought up, Shavir, the ballistics and my brain is failing me right now. Ballistics and naturalist. And then we'll also be getting new weapons, the bracers, which are a mage/melee type weapon, as well as I think pistols or some gun type weapon, which will be paired well with ballistics. A ton of stuff coming in the next update. But yeah, just next week he did announce that we have the effective level cap increased and the boss bounties. I was hoping to get your guys' thoughts on that and how you feel about that minor update coming into the game. Are you excited to fight some of the old bosses that you've tackled in the beginning of the game? Do you think it's something that will ignite maybe a little bit more fun group content where maybe it's lacking right now?
Are they gonna add more mechanics to it, or just bump the numbers up?
It's a great question. I don't know. Niter was saying essentially that like it'll be server wide, so like the entire server will have the same boss bounty. Like you'll go to a new NPC similar to Maxer. It'll be kind of like a ranger company. You'll pick up a bounty to go fight the boss, and then have an opportunity as a group to go fight it. Whether it still functions as it is now, like where you get equalized to the level and maybe it's not much of a challenge. I hope that that's not the case. It's probably how it'll function, but I'm excited to see how if things will be a little bit different, where you go to fight this old boss and maybe your level is diminished even on a harsher degree, so that the group content is still exhilarating.
Can only one person or one party get the benefit of this, or?
Man, these are great questions. I wish I knew the answer, and I wish Niter was here to answer these questions. But I mean, we'll be finding out in a few days, I'm assuming. But
He's probably inspired by WoW a little bit with the world bosses, which is not a bad inspiration. But
I think it's quite a lot of games with the world bosses like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
If
this I think
I mean,
is
it's not a
just
bad
like
thing. It's a good thing.
the world bosses are still coming. So like another thing that Niter mentioned in a previous AMA, and I think world bosses are coming with 1.1.0 if I'm not mistaken. But the world bosses are going to be like Oh man, he was saying it actually sounds pretty interesting that the world bosses, which are completely separate from what I'm talking about right now, like will be, you know, these bosses that spawn in the open world. You go fight them, and they'll essentially, like, metaphorically explode when they're defeated, and the rewards will like drop in a wide radius around the boss. So you'll kind of have to go and like scavenge and run around and pick up these rewards from various areas where the boss died, and then it'll be like Culling Eyes. You'll have it on your person. You won't be able to teleport. You can get chased down and killed and have those rewards dropped and taken by another player.
Yeah. GG and TG is gonna be very nice to everyone and let everyone just farm alongside them, right?
Oh boy. I mean, you know, that's I think maybe, you know, the explosion, that's what I'm just going to call it. The explosion of the boss rewards is maybe like a solution to this problem where you have one guild or two guilds TGG and GG running the area, and you know, you can as an individual kind of rat it out, go snag a reward from the edge of the range of the boss's area and run away, you know. Kind of like sneaking into a Culling Eyes spawn and maybe going into a corner and farming some Culling Eyes and then dipping without anybody ever seeing you, right? But okay, I mean, if you guys
level sync on Culling Eyes. Oof.
Oh, say that again. You want a level sync on
They
Culling
need to
Eyes?
fix the level sync on the Culling Eyes. Like when events pop up during Culling Eyes, then you're gonna be level synced and people doing Culling Eyes, and then it just bomb. It's like if there's a Culling Eye for a lower level area, just make it so you can level sync during that. Is kind of what I think about it. Because there's a lot of people that can't do it because they're too high level, right? But
yeah, totally. I actually
kind of suck
get
that you have to de-level yourself and then you can't de-level
but
yourself.
I think it's actually a healthy balance because, like, as a high level player, you're disincentivized to go to a low level Culling Eyes spawn because you have to de-level yourself, right?
No, you're not. You're not. Because you just go there and wait for people to come out, and then you just
yeah, absolutely.
and then you just murk the
But
people
that's
coming
always,
out
that's
because they
always
have
gonna be a thing,
de-leveled
though.
themselves.
That's always going to be
Stand
an
by
issue,
the board
right?
where they are.
I mean, just why not just make the whole area be like level synced during the like Culling spawn in, so it's more of a even playing field. Because it's just
that's a hot
just
take, my friend. Yeah, that is a hot take. Oh, what do you got, Vitronics or let's
one-shotted like.
Sin, what level are you in the game? Let me bring this to your table here.
I've been playing this game for 1 month and 2 weeks, so a month and a half exact, and I am level 68.
Wow. Oh man, you've been grinding.
Brother, come on, don't play with me, man.
You've been grinding,
bro. And if you think I'm lying, bro, I don't do anything in secret. I'm streaming every single day for 15 hours minimum, bro. So there's no secrets out there. So if I'm lying, somebody will put me in my place if I was lying.
The only secret is how you're staying alive and staying awake during this time. 15 hours
brother,
a day.
I'm not alive. I've been dead for about a month and 2 weeks. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
bro, I mean, it's easy, man. It's easy.
Okay.
You know, everybody in my stream is just high energy along with me. They keep me going, man. You know, if I didn't have the stream, it'll be a different story and a different conversation. But we got great energy up in there, man. Everyone pushes each other. I tell them all the time, iron sharpens iron, right? So when one person's working hard, you might not know, but you are motivating somebody else, even if they don't tell you. You know, you work hard, and that sucker, you know, spreads like wildfire. So before you know it, you got a good group of people just pushing each other, sharpening each other. Before you know it, you're having fun, and you're high level. You're finding success, and it's just a wonderful like dynamic. And in a game like this, RavenQuest, it's good. It's so good that it even allows that to be a thing. You know, it brings out the best in people. So. Yeah, a month and a half exact, level 68 legacy.
Wow. Yeah, I gotta say.
If you're ever feeling down, go to his fucking stream. He'll uplift you.
Yeah, maybe we gotta. I gotta do like a collab with you someday, Sin. I would love to.
Appreciate that, man.
To get in on some good vibes with you. I was hanging out with Bunny and Mrs. Fam on one of the streams, and
great girls. Great girls,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. It's always good vibes, hanging out with all the
Absolutely.
fam people that I've interacted with. So, whatever you guys are doing, keep at it. It's great. It's
Appreciate
great to
that.
see.
Yeah.
But the reason why I was asking is, I'm curious about. I was hoping honestly that you'd be a little lower level to get like a different perspective on this calling eyes thing that we were talking
I could change my
about.
archetypes.
No. Have you ever? What are your thoughts on like calling eyes? Right? Have you ever felt like maybe when you were a lower level, like you were a little intimidated to go into an area that you would were you getting camped? Were you getting killed? I mean, have you ever had any trouble there? Like,
That's a phenomenal question. It's a little hard to answer that because I did admittedly level up so fast, so I don't stay in one spot for too long. Like 1 second, one day I'll be doing level 40 cold eyes. 2 days later, I'm doing level 50 cold eyes. Right? So I'm like I'm moving really fast. However, I could tell you right now that every single cold eyes I do, I'm mixing around my archetypes. I'm hitting up all my people on my stream, like who's this level, so I could sync down to them. If I don't have any takers to come with me so I could use them to sync down, I'm changing into much lower archetypes. And then it puts you in a position. So number one, I guess that's a little problem right there. Just all that extra brain power to like figure out
you gotta
how
like
to
coordinate people and try to sit down.
just to make it work.
Right,
So maybe the syncing is not the worst idea. Right? It's that's honest, right? It's not the worst idea because there's so much to go into it. And then you get yourself in this problem, like you put on like 3 archetypes that has dust on it, right? You never touch these archetypes just to get your levels down. And then here comes somebody in their main archetype build, and you have to how are you supposed to defend yourself at 50 cold eyes?
Level down.
Yeah, you're all that's
and
it.
you're doing
I just stand there. I just stand there as they're killing me. I'm just like, how's the weather, brother? We're having good weather. I can't do anything.
Why do you guys
so maybe
level down?
that's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Man, it sounds like there's a lot of feedback relating to cold eyes. I also had a personal opinion of mine, which is that cold eyes should never spawn in a purely conflict zone, but it should always be war zone. Because when you're fighting in a cold eyes zone, you're racking up infamy, which is also like just a disincentivization to kill people in a calling eyes, which I feel like is the opposite of what a calling eyes area should be. Calling eyes should be like a fun place where everyone can freely engage in combat, and like you guys have all suggested now and kind of agreed on, is that maybe the area should be level synced. As I'm listening, I'm kind of being convinced myself that it's actually a good idea because I've experienced a lot of these same concerns. And going back to somebody else's point earlier about even just sharing a bounty board with someone, you gotta like, I don't know. I have a friend who can come kill Venom Fang Drakes with me, but he's just literally like one effective level away from being able to accept that bounty. So I'm getting all the benefits of being able to do the bounty, and it's either one of us takes the hit of not getting the value of farming while containing a bounty, or we split off and we engage in the game separately, which I think is the opposite of what should be incentivized in the game, if that makes sense. So
yeah, agreed. How about calling eyes on the sea?
Yeah.
Calling eyes on the sea.
If they make,
that'd be so cool. I mean, we
some
need,
people
if they
bringing
make
up
them,
like
sorry.
death cost on the sea. The death cost on the sea. Slavon, he's in chat right now. He brought up that the death costs are very high on the sea, and that like with that fishing update, that they kind of ruined a lot of things for people. What do you guys think of the death costs on sea?
Is it enhanced on the sea, or is it just like that you're racking up infamy from killing other players on the sea?
I think they did some sort of infamy. They did some sort of infamy change, right?
Well, I think what it is that like I think before everybody was getting like the same amount of infamy when they would kill each other on the sea, regardless of your level or like the type of ship that you had. So it was kind of like a player in a small boat gets the same amount of infamy killing a large boat than a large boat killing a small boat, which was a little bit wonky. So I think you get more infamy if you're a large boat killing a small boat, and you get less infamy if you're a large boat killing a large boat. But I think I don't think they adjusted the death fees on the sea specifically. You're probably just experiencing the skew of, oh, I'm on the sea, I killed somebody in defense or offense or whatever, and now I have infamy, so when I die, it's higher. I mean, this is the same in the overworld, I'll call it, in the open world, like on land. So I wouldn't say that there needs to be an adjustment there necessarily, but just
But what about
I-
the dev costs on
I
on
mean-
C? You know, because C content is really fun, right? But
yeah.
since the dev cost is kind of like the same.
Yeah,
and,
but that's
like,
what I'm saying.
always
It's the
the
same on
same,
land, brother. It's the same on land. I'm pretty sure. I mean,
yeah, but
am I
there
wrong?
there are times where the dev cost is lower, aka during calling eyes. I mean, you
No,
have
no.
like
The death cost is not lower in calling eyes. Your death cost is always
if
the
you
same no
die
matter
in
what you're doing.
PvP, it's lower. If you die in PvP, it's lower.
That's if you're on plunder, yeah.
No, on normal calling. If you die during calling, then the cost of death is lower.
That's only.
Oh.
No, I have to interject there. That's only
Yeah.
if you're not flagged as a murderer. If you did not attack
Oh.
first and you die as an innocent player, it's lower. But that's
Oh, okay.
that's intended. If you attack first and you get a skull next to your name, that's a normal death. Same price as every other death.
Okay,
So,
so maybe
yeah.
this is a problem on the sea as well. Maybe you're dying in a defensive position and you don't have the skull on you and you have you don't have the reduced death fee like you would get on land, maybe? Is that what's occurring?
Well, you're kind of getting it regardless. If you want to defend yourself in a way, then you can't go to harbor, for example, which is kind of dumb. Like you get attacked and you can't like shoot, defend yourself, and then like you know
And then dock.
sail away into a harbor. You have
Right,
to like
right.
not
Sit there and
defend
wait.
yourself at
Yeah,
all, which is
right.
so fucking stupid. I think.
I-
that's
Wait,
so-
Well, you do
I
you
just
do
wanna-
have a slower
But it can
timer
be
though.
abused,
Like
however.
your timer is, I think if you are defending and you get the red skull, right? You do have like a 30-second timer as opposed to like a 2.5-minute timer before you can dock. Although I will say I agree that like it is a little bit silly
I'm gonna
that
just
you're trying to defend yourself and you
my,
can't dock, right?
Yeah.
What were you gonna say there, Sin and Punishment?
I want a confirmation on this because I don't think it works like this. But please, if somebody has like facts, I'll love it. To my knowledge, you can defend, right? Let's say I'm fishing and someone attacks me. They get a skull. I don't have a skull. I can shoot back and not get a skull, and dock. The only thing that prevents you from docking is that skull on you. You can't walk into a shrine with a skull on you, and you can't walk into the dock with a skull on you. But I could shoot back if I wasn't attacked
I'm pretty
first.
sure if you're in defensive mode and you attack back, you do get
Yeah.
some form
You
of a
can't go
timer
in.
above your head, and you can't dock. But it's
It's not
it
that you
is
get
it is
red
less.
skull.
Yeah.
It's not that you get red skull. It's
Okay.
just that if you defend yourself, you can't go into dock. 'Cause this happened to me
That's
once when
fine.
I was right outside of like RavenQuest, and I'm like, oh, it's fine. I'll go back. Oh no, couldn't go back. I ended up surviving
Gotcha.
anyway. But
I appreciate
like,
the confirmation. Yeah,
it's
that's all I
yeah,
wanted. Thank you.
It's hair in the face.
I don't do much C PvP, so I just literally wanted because that was a question I
Oh,
had
it's
also.
it's
so
super fun
awesome.
because the playing field is more even.
I see
just about
there's yeah, go ahead, Vitronics, if you're jumping in.
just a quick one, yeah. So
Yeah.
when you die in PvP to someone that is higher level than you significantly, then your EXP sort of depth, and there goes the sort of payment, the XP depth payment is lower. But when you die to
Ah.
someone that is like lower level than you, that is increased.
And you're talking about for
This
the
is,
sea or for land? Sorry.
For the
So-
land, yeah.
Got it.
So
Got it.
that could have rather been it rather than the calling eyes being affected by it in my case there.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it could
Maybe
be, yeah.
they partially
Oh.
implemented something like this
Alright.
on the sea with the infamy, I suppose, right? Where like you get less infamy if you're a large boat killing a large boat. But okay, you know, we can do some exploration of how the death fees are working in the ocean, and maybe I'll include something like this in the forum that I write at the end of our call here. These are really some interesting thoughts. We've got a couple comments in the chat here that I want to go through really quickly. I want to address number 0's question, which was, why do you guys level down for cold eyes? So number 0, I just want to clarify for everybody in the chat, when you're doing cold eyes, you want your effective level to be within about 5 levels. The mob should ideally be green, and maybe some of them are orange for you. But you want most of the mobs to be green as you're doing cold eyes. This will result in you getting more cold eyes. It's kind of like if you kill a mob that's gray, you're only going to get 1 silver. If you kill a mob that's gray, there's like a 10% chance to get a cold eye as opposed to like a 70% chance to get a cold eye. So you always want to be similar level to the cold eyes area. Go ahead. Sorry, Shafir.
But if you have someone that is in your team that the mobs are great to, then you're gonna get less too as well if you're close to them.
Right.
Which
So
is kinda funny.
it's I think there is a little bit of an issue. I think you're addressing kind of like this issue of being in a party, and I've even had moments where I'm in a party and someone's just getting nothing. Like they get no XP, they get no rewards at all. There's some issue, I think, some bug with the party level syncing that goes on there that they could address. But do want to talk about that and clear that up for you, Zero. We also have Sylvan suggesting some ideas. Separate accumulation of sea and land penalties if possible. I think that's a really cool idea that, you know, it's just a small thing that could be introduced if possible. Kind of like how they separate infamy from plunder. So that's cool. And then we've got Taro saying either high-level creature items need to be more valuable or they need to reduce the large community. Honestly, both. I'm not sure if I fully understand what you're saying there, Taro. Either high-level creature items need to be more valuable or they need to reduce the large community. What is the large community? I don't know. If
45 million for the large community
oh,
house.
reduce the large
and it
community.
costs 1 million.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah, I see what you're saying.
With reduced prices and everything too.
We need to find out if they're going to reduce initial investment for large community farm. 45 million is completely wild.
Hard to make
it is pretty intense. But I mean, I do wonder, like, if you reduce it too much, maybe it's too accessible, right? We want the game to have longevity, right? And it's kind of something that you can work towards as a player. But yeah, probably in the current state of the game, we don't see enough earnings at a high level, which I think is what you're addressing. Like, they need to increase the amount of earnings you obtain from killing high-level mobs in order to justify the 45 million that it costs to get that large community land. So it's an interesting point that you bring up there.
On that though, how do they increase the earnings that people make? Because it's always balanced, right? With how much money are people putting into the game versus how much money people are putting out of the game. And to the, bravado to the devs for not bending down to like big corporation or whatever that want to come in and sponsor, quote unquote, and just take over. So the way they're monetizing it is pretty good in a way, I think. But since they're not having any sponsors or any, of that, it's gonna make the game bleed some money too. So question is, if they can get in some income via, like, I don't know, say if you die and 3 times a day or something, you can run a commercial or something like 30 seconds, like to reduce the death cost a little bit. And that way the game can get a little income in, which would then increase the price of quest and reduce the amount of like just quest and silver going out to the same degree, because they're getting a little bit of income through commercial. Of course, an optional thing, but what do you guys think about that idea? Because they need income in order to prevent like the quest from devaluing, right?
Yeah, I don't know, like,
it's a tough one.
Watching a commercial is definitely not something I could see. Like, it's like you're saying, like, watch an ad. It doesn't fit in the game world at all. But
I mean, yes.
I see.
Economically,
maybe on
unless
mobile.
It's gonna be Quest token commercial.
Maybe on yeah, unless it's a Quest token
Buy
commercial.
Quest token. Like
but
30 seconds video.
On mobile, I could see it just because that's like a common thing that occurs on mobile. But on PC, no.
Yeah. Because of the Quest ecosystem they're doing, it could be something for the idle game. Yeah, that.
Guys, I'm gonna interrupt really quickly. I'm gonna actually do a flash giveaway. To the first person that finds me, I will be giving 250k silver. This does not count for 2 things. 1, if you're a speaker, this is not for you. And number 2, if you are on my friends list, this is also not for you, because you can just like switch to my server. So kind of diminishes part of the yeah, sorry buddy. But yeah, we'll be giving away 250k silver to the first person who finds me and stands next to me. I am obviously streaming, so you can open up, and see where I'm standing. That's just a little something. It's not much, Oh, you want to throw in something, Vitronics?
Yeah, I'll throw in 3 codes for Raven bugs. 3 Raven bugs.
Perfect. Okay, great. That's awesome. How many are you giving away? Should I add? Should I do 2 people? You can do 2 people.
Just one person. I mean,
Okay, one
you know,
person. One person.
Yeah,
Sounds
just
good.
one person takes it all. Takes it all.
WT's over here like, oh, he's giving out more money to the homeless. 250K is nothing. Hey, man, I'm also a little low
Where's
on
mine?
silver over here. It's been
To
tough
have them
as
answer a
craftsman.
riddle.
Speaking of riddle, I actually think I'm gonna try to build out a fun scavenger hunt in the future, but that's for a later day. Anyways, guys, wow, we've really unpacked a lot here, and we're coming up on an hour 20, so I think we can slowly begin to wrap this up here. In terms of any final points that we could have talked about, I think, yeah, I mean, I think we've pretty much covered anything. Is there or everything? Is there anything on your guys' minds that you wanted to bring specifically to this roundtable that you want included in the forum, or anybody have any thoughts on or new ideas on previous points that we've discussed so far in the call?
Got one thing on the sea thing.
Yeah.
So infamy, right? It seems like, I don't know if this is correct or not, but it seems like they sort of have a tendency, the NPCs, to target the ones that have the highest infamy. Because sometimes I've done more damage than someone else, but they still target the person with the high infamy. I don't know if this is just placebo or just confirmer bias kind of thing, or is that something that you guys have noticed at all?
Could you say that again, Shavir? What's the you're saying?
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you have infamy,
Mhm.
then it seems like the NPCs, the monsters, specifically like pirates and other things, seems to have a tendency to focus on the people with high infamy. I don't know if this is just confirmer bias fault or if it's actually a thing. I don't know if anyone ever experienced this at all.
I don't think so. You're probably experiencing some sort of bias, like because
Probably.
the mob's aggro mechanic. It's a little interesting. Like I'm not 100% sure how it works. Like if 2 players walk into an area, for example, I was with Bunny yesterday, and I would pull a bunch of mobs, and then like neither of us would be using any skills, and then 2 of them would aggro towards her. Like one of them would aggro towards her, and the other 3 would stay on me. And yeah, I don't really know like what was happening there. I
But,
know that
hey,
yeah, but I don't
think
think
about this,
Infamy is doing that.
yeah, it may not be a thing, but it got me thinking. What if there was 2 types of infamy in the game, like sea infamy and whatever land, and like the more infamy you have, maybe they could be like NPC ships because trade is obviously going around between the different islands, right? So why not have just an NPC merchant like doing a trade background, of course with like a bit lower stuff, right? And then players can come in and either defend or attack those merchant ship or whatever. And there could be like patrols of like aka like marines or whatever NPC naval thing. And the more sea infamy you have, the more like they're inclined to attack you. It's like an NPC faction on the sea sort of thing.
Like GTA Police.
Which,
you got 5 stars.
yeah,
we're
exactly.
coming after
You
you,
get
bro.
like stars in the sea almost. I think that could be a really cool thing, which people that
I
are very
mean, hey,
peaceful,
if
they
we're
cannot be
talking
bitches and
ideas,
hide at the NPCs. And
if we're talking
would,
ideas, what do you think of my sea monsters? You find some a misty area, and you go in, you get to fight the Kraken or the Megalodon. Is that something that you'd
yeah,
like
that
to
would be
see in
cool.
the sea too?
That would be cool. So,
I
or
do
what
like
if
your
you could
NPC
like,
idea. It's pretty cool.
yeah, what if you could, when you grapple someone or something,
Uh-huh.
what if there's an option of turning it into a sort of land PvP thing? Because we're just these small ships, right? But what if there's a way to try to semi-force a situation where it becomes 2 ships that grappled and there's some mechanics around that? I don't know. Maybe that's too much and it would, be unbalanced, but
Yeah.
I would love to see some PvP between 2 ships and you're on different side of the ships or some shit. I think that would be really cool.
You jump on
Like
their
some
ship and start
actual,
PvP.
yeah, like grappling, hooking over and shit. I don't know. Could be cool.
Yeah, I mean,
Could be fucked up too.
I think in terms of the sea, I think there's probably like, including you, Shavir, there's so many ideas that could like improve the sea and enhance the experience on the ocean and make it more of something
Less
you want to
mechanically
go
feasible.
do, and less about like, oh, I'm just running trade packs through the ocean, right? I'm just going from one place to another. So I think, just share your ideas in a forum, and hopefully, with the Niter Forge and in future updates we can see some improvements. One of my favorites was like the weather idea. I think that's really cool. I remember playing Sea of Thieves, if you guys are familiar with the game, and like I'm in a thunderstorm and my wheel is spinning and I have to like pull it to the side, and my compass is spinning as well. I don't know where I'm going and I can't see anything. It was pretty cool. I'm reading some comments here and then we can slowly wrap things up, but they should also make massive multiplayer ships like an aircraft carrier or something where one person drives and
dope
all
as
your little
hell.
flying monkeys come.
Yeah, so they can
That'd be
shoot
cool.
off the ship. They can control a cannon and shit. That would be so
That would
fucking
be cool. Massive guild
Yeah.
warboat. You have people who are controlling cannons, one guy on the wheel. That'd be pretty intense.
That would be so cool.
That
Because
would be
then people
pretty
can
cool.
join in that don't have a good boat either, right?
Who are they going to
That would
fight
be
though?
so
Who are they going
cool.
to fight? There's nobody out there.
Yeah,
Well,
but
Great
there's-
ideas, but who are they going to fight?
There's
You're going to fire at the
that's why you
tumbleweeds that are
create
rolling across the
factions.
sea?
there's a
That's
lot
why you
of
create factions and reputation.
There's nothing
Right?
to fight out there, man.
Yeah,
There's
but
nothing
what
to
if
fight out
the
WT
there.
pirate
totally.
ships
I mean,
actually roam?
Listen, we gotta. There's a lot of things that would probably, to your point, have to occur before anything like that to that scale is introduced. Like more complicated boss battles, monsters,
Right,
and ranger
exactly.
company tasks, and incentivization from players to pirate each other. Like we actually like similar to plunder. There's like I don't know. There's so many incredible ideas how we can incentivize people to go on the sea, and I mean. Sounds like we have a lot of people who are very passionate about the ocean here. And listen, I'm also a large
Yeah, it's great.
galleon owner, and I built my large galleon like right when the trade packs were nerfed. So like even that incentivization to go on the ocean was kind of diminished, and it was a little bit disappointing to have just built my large galleon and then kind of see content dies down a little bit. But I think it's definitely something that their team is aware of, and hopefully over time we'll get some adjustments. Or Vitronics is over there thinking like, oh, these guys are smoking some serious copium over here, but
We need
No,
to
no,
introduce
no,
some
that's
shipping
cool.
lanes, dude.
That's
Shipping
good
lanes
stuff.
with
Good
commerce
stuff.
ships carrying goods you guys can destroy.
But all I'm
Good
saying is until yes, they need to come up with something different. You can't have it how it was, but until you get an answer, you got to do something to incentivize people to go out there, even if they are extractors, because I don't know about you guys, nothing makes me happier than killing an extractor and taking his loot.
yeah.
But there has to be
Yeah.
something because it's easy. Keep it simple, keep it stupid. And you want to solve a lot of the economy problems and things in the game. Make it fun, make it easy to be with your group of friends. Because I'm telling you, when you're with your group of friends and you get that synergy going, you morally inside you want
Yep.
to go out and buy things to make yourself better so that you can roll and be better with your friends. I think it would solve itself.
You're absolutely right, WT. The only thing I err some caution on is that like and this is just my personal opinion. It's just I don't think that solution is just in increasing fishing rewards, because
Mm.
I don't think that like having 5 people sitting around and pressing 3 buttons is like fun and engaging dynamic group content. It definitely is something, and like I'm not trying to shut down your idea at all. I completely agree with the fundamental of what you're saying. I just don't think that increasing fishing rewards is the solution, if that's something that you're maybe alluding to in the background. But
I'm not saying it's a solution.
Okay.
I'm just saying until they get the solution,
Mhm.
what they got now, I mean, what's it for? You know?
Right. I man,
I don't
I no, I totally agree with you, brother. Like 100%. I mean, you can see I'm up there on the sea is dead forum post, and I'm trying to provide as many ideas as I can. I'm sharing it with people. Like I'm also I'm also very passionate about trying to come up with ideas to make the ocean more enticing. So
But that massive multiplayer ship idea was fucking awesome. I think it could be time based. Like it'll last for an hour or some shit, and you need a certain amount of materials to craft it or something. I think could be cool.
yeah, well, Unfortunately, nobody showed up to come find me either for this 250k silver. So I guess it wasn't enough of an incentive. I'll try to have a bigger reward for you guys next time. And
You
anyway,
just got too many friends, man. Everybody's your friend. You're
yeah,
too
man.
popular.
Let me look at my friends list. Probably 50% of the people listening are on there. But listen, guys.
People even know who you are.
Yeah, go ahead.
Wh-
People
I
know
mean,
who
where
I
are you
am.
even? Yeah.
I-
No, I mean, no, not that. I mean, what does the mini map even say? Too small to see.
I mean, I think that's part of the fun is trying to find me. I can flash my map real quick.
Yeah.
I'm pretty close to RavenQuest. I'll stay
Oh.
here for until
Oh
the
yeah. Oh.
until the thing ends.
I've dropped codes for the packs in the chat anyway. So
Oh, thank you,
Help yourself.
Vitronics. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, that's nice.
I can open up to my friends list as well. Whoever anybody shows up, except for you guys. You guys can't. This is not for you.
I will not
Yeah,
try
I-
to.
Next time I'll get some juicy rewards for the speakers or something. But, anyways, guys,
we good.
listen. We've been here for an hour and a half. I think we've overextended our stay here on the stage. But it has been an incredible talk, and I really appreciate you guys being here, talking openly and honestly. This has been like super juicy. Love all of the ideas. Everyone's very passionate about it. I will definitely be creating this breakdown as soon as possible. Thank you to the RavenQuest team, as always, for letting us host this on the stage in the Discord. It's an absolute pleasure and honor to be here. And yeah, I'm your host, Jyrmz. This was RavenQuest Roundtable Episode 9, hosted by RavenQuest.tools. I do want to throw the mic over to Foolish if you're around, and
Sir.
feel free to tell us a little bit about what's going on the RavenQuest.tools development side of things, and then we can close out the space here.
Sure. Yeah. So I guess there's three big things. One of the big things we're doing right now is we have some of our like official mock-up screens of some of our designs, which I'm not sure we'll show this week, but maybe we can prep it for next week's discussion for our designs for the build planner, which you guys saw me. I don't know if you saw me in the tavern or the landowner channel earlier. I was asking for some information around it, so that is actively in development. So imagine some of your favorite MMOs, whether it's Diablo or PoE or Last Epoch or whatever you played before this, World of Warcraft, there's going to be a official build planner for RavenQuest from RavenQuest Tools. We're going to try to get that done in the next, 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, hopefully. And then we are also pushing out pretty heavily on the content side. So you saw a big push from us from a giveaway for our blog competition, the Ravens Cool Challenge. So you guys have 30 days. We have our blog. Let me post it in the chat really quick. Pop over to our Discord to get all of the information for it. There's a 2,500 quest pool and $50 in Raven packs per winner. There will be 5 winners selected. So come over to our Discord, go to our blog page, submit your idea. From a guide to a guild story or whatever else it is that you're working on. Maybe if you're an adamant sea adventurer and you've experienced some cool shit and you want to share it with the community, WT cough cough. You guys can write some cool shit, maybe earn. So 500 quests, well, 2,500 quests total up for grabs, but it'll be for each winner, 5 winners, be 500 quests and $50 in Raven packs. It is adamant about sea with me.
Oh, God.
Myself.
My God. And we are
I
actually
was not
cooking up.
expecting to see that.
I was not either for what.
He's a speaker, by the way, guys. Just FYI.
Yeah, what the heck? Never coming back. You're banished.
Nah, that's so good. You can't scare me away that easily.
I'm posting in the chat. We are working on some pretty serious content from our side, but this is a small
Still
teaser
alive.
video of some coming, maybe cinematic-esque
Welcome to RavenQuest.
videos that we're
I'll
going to
be
be
your
pushing out
guide.
on our version of our kind of hooded figure in our blogs and our articles. So we're going to be trying to do some pretty sick videos and voiceovers between all of our tips, all of our blogs. It should be really cool, maybe not just to see, but to also listen to. Yeah. So if you guys have any questions around anything we're working on, you have any recommendations, again, pop in the Discord, get some more information on the blog challenge. There's a lot of cool shit cooking. And then obviously with RavenQuest Cooking, we are very excited to be moving along.
Awesome. Thank you so much for breaking everything down, Foolish. Yeah, definitely, guys, take a look at our giveaway. It's a pretty juicy reward, I would say. You're getting $50 of ascendable Raven packs if you're selected in the raffle. It's one winner for every 10 valid submissions. So, go ahead and write, anything about the game. Give us, like, your top 10 pro tips. I mean, anything valuable that you can provide to the community. I'm sure everyone has some valuable experience they can share. And you'll be hosted on our blog as the author, and get a chance to win some juicy reward, 500 quests and $50 of ascendable Raven packs. So yeah, I am
That's not bad.
yeah, it's nice, especially in this economy, right? So yeah, I'm really excited for you guys to see the build planner as well. I think it's going to be super helpful for the community and exciting to share everybody's builds with the community. So anyways, guys, I want to close this out just by saying once again, thank you so much if you're in the audience listening. Thank you for those of you who are up here speaking with me. And if anybody in the community, those of you who are listening, ever have any questions, if you need me to craft you something for blacksmithing, if you need me to help you out with a quest or whatever, just hit me up. It's not for free. It's not for. You got to bring the materials, okay? I'm not saying that this is free crafting, okay? But I'm happy to help.
Crafters
And
don't craft for profit.
just add me as a friend. Hit me up. DM me on Discord. But
help
yeah.
my man Viking Prince, okay? He's a struggling blacksmith, level soon 60. Help him push it up, okay?
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Let's go ahead and close it out here. I will definitely reach out to him, Shavir. Okay. I will. I'll give him half of my XP. Okay. So.
Yeah.
All right, guys. It
Go
has
and
been
sub
real.
and follow Vitronics and Sid.
Yes. Yes.
They're awesome. Both of
Oh
them.
my God! Look at this. Look at these plugs. I love it. Okay, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shavir. I need you to quiet down over here so we can close out the space. Okay, brother.
Sin, are you still here?
Sin.
I don't know if Sin is still here.
You've been summoned.
Yeah, Sin, you're
I'm
summoned.
sorry. Can you,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm here. What's going on? I'm sorry.
You guys do your fam guild game nights on Friday nights, correct?
Actually, I'm fairly new, so I don't have the answer to that. 369, please, if you're there.
Yeah, Mrs.
Please answer
Pham,
that question.
when are you guys hosting the game nights, Mrs. Pham? Just so we can shout it out. That was
I
a
appreciate
one
that.
time
That was
thing.
a
for-
one
okay.
time. Oh, come on. I'm trying to grow
Well,
the brand.
Yeah, just let us know whenever you guys. Yeah, I mean, for any guilds out there, by the way, if you guys are listening in, feel free to hit us up as well. Like for sponsorships, if you need a sponsorship for an event, we can always talk business and help you guys, run an event, be a part of it, or sponsor it, like I said. So, over here at RavenQuest Tools, what I'm trying to say is that we're here to help. We're here for the community. I love the game. I'm very passionate about the game. And yeah, we just want to do whatever we can to help the game grow, to help the community thrive, and it's an incredible community here that we have. So thank you guys so much. I'm gonna end it there. Otherwise, I fear this will turn into a Nighter AMA and extend for another hour and a half. So
Where's he at? Let's just
love
invite
you
him.
guys. No, no, it's over. It's over. RavenQuest Guilds Roundtable episode 9. Thank you guys so much. Jyrmz here, signing off.